The Fantasy Hockey Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog has just added Pick'em Scorchers, where you can win 100 times your bet. That's right, turn $5 into $500 in just one game. Plus, every Sunday, they're giving away $100,000. Use promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for a 100% deposit bonus up to $500. And we're brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. And the NBA is back, and so is the NBA Gambling Podcast. To celebrate, we're giving away an NBA Gambling Podcast hoodie. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NBA dog. That's NBA DOG for all the details. And welcome into the Fantasy Hockey Podcast presented by the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. I am your host, Justin Bruni. Joining me, as always, is my co-host and brother, Nick Olczak. How we doing, sir? Happy Sunday evening.
Yep, happy Sunday evening yourself. Doing good. In a tight fantasy matchup due to the mistake of adding goaltender Spencer Martin 4 minutes after his time listed for the game. And he had 40 points. So as a result of that,
Ouch.
I only hold a 4-point lead with 1 game or 2 games on my slate left. So going to be a tight matchup. But outside of that, still sitting at 1-0. But got to be a lot better, though. Get a lot more points. I know you had a little bit of a struggle this week. So we definitely got to go over some of these names to get our teams as well as your teams better for the week.
Yeah, definitely need to get out of the gutter. My team, slow start this week, little to no production the first couple of days. I was, buried from the get-go. Jack Hughes came around. He popped up some production for me. Seth Jarvis was able to pick him up off the waiver wire. He was a nice add for me this week. One of the top scorers right now in the NHL. Still not enough, not getting it done. Got to dive into the waiver wire here. We're going to be getting into it tonight. We have got a lot of names to go over. Hopefully some of these names can help you in your league. Some are a little bit more higher percentage, 30, 40% rostered, but a lot of them are below that. So these guys should be readily available in your fantasy hockey leagues. Nick, who is our first guy up here? Let's just dive right into the discussion.
Yeah, right away we've got some veteran presence on the list in James Van Riemsdyk right now. Playing on the third line with Charlie Coyle and Trent Frederick, which I like. That's kind of a tough line. I think Van Riemsdyk brings a little bit more skill to that line, while Coyle and Frederick are more physical players. And then he is on the first power play as well with Pavel Zacha and Brad Marchand, which is a very weird power play. No Bergeron, no Krejci anymore on that power play, but hoping he can fill that role and get some production going, which is look like he has. He's got points in 3 straight games, 4 games on the year, 3 goals, 1 assist for 7 shots on goal. Looks like a pretty good pickup at 26% rostered, but you got to get on him quick, though. He's plus 23% roster rate in the last day. So teams are catching on, and definitely someone to look at. And he's also got a favorable schedule the next few games. He's got Anaheim in the late game tonight, then Chicago, Anaheim, Detroit. All favorable games, all matchups he can produce in. So I definitely like Mr. Van Riemsdyk for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head. I was definitely right there with you on the matchups. That's what I was looking at for this upcoming week. A lot of games Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. I'm sorry, and Monday as well. I'm sorry, that's this evening, the game tonight against Anaheim. Sorry. So still 3 games this upcoming week. Great opponents, a lot of opportunity for scoring in those matchups. Detroit's also been very good, but a lot of scoring going on in their game. So I like those opportunities. But the ice time is not there. For a guy that's got points in 3 straight games, was it 3 goals, 1 assist, but just 14 minutes played, 13 minutes played, 11 and a half. I don't know. I'd like to see a little bit more time on the ice. Also, not many shots on goal, just 7 shots on goal through 4 games. I'd like to see a little bit more there. So I'm thinking there might be a better option for you. I don't know if I would make him like my top guy, but I would definitely, put in a little star next to his name, because if you start to see a little bit more ice time come his way, I think he's going to be a more valuable asset consistently. I think there's going to be a lot of guys on the waiver wire that are playing a lot more minutes, more role or bigger roles, more opportunities to score, get you fantasy points. So I'm gonna be a little bit more timid about picking him up, but I think he's a good guy to keep an eye on. Who's our next guy up?
Next up, we got Andrew Kopp of the Detroit Red Wings. Second line forward with JT Compher, Michael Rasmussen on that line. And he's a second line power play center with JT Compher and Lucas Raymond. Been playing well as of late. 5 games played, 3 goals, 1 assist, 20 shots on goal. But the last couple games, I would be more timid on him, because he just the last 2 games hasn't been as productive. No goals or assists or anything. 3 shots on goal. But he's got a tough schedule coming up with Winnipeg, Seattle, Boston. But he had a couple good games. He got one against Pittsburgh where he potted in 2 goals, and a game against Columbus where he had a goal, a game against Tampa with an assist. But the shots on goal are there for him for sure. In 5 games, he's got 20 shots on goal, so averaging shots on goal a game. So definitely love to see that. But for me, this is more of like someone I'm really on the fence about. I've got him tonight in my fantasy team, playing in the last game here, or we've already played. And he didn't do anything, and for me, which I was really disappointing, because the guy I'm playing has Alex DeBrincat, and he had a hat trick, and now I'm in a very, very close matchup. But yeah, definitely someone I'm going to be a little bit more timid with. But a lot of other teams are thinking differently. 28% roster and plus 27 in the last day. So yeah, it's just about where you need guys in your lineup and what you see fit. Because for me, it doesn't seem like the long-term fit, but for other teams, he might be a better fit.
Could also just be off to a little bit of a slower start. I mean, he is getting the puck to the net often. He has 0 games with less than 3 shots on net. 3, 3, 4, 5, 3, 5. So he's definitely looking to get the puck to the net with some urgency here. Downside, I think, in our league with the scoring is he's not winning faceoffs. 6-1, 4 lost, 4-1, 5 lost. There was a night he was negative, -5. Another night he's +3. Another night he's even. Another night he's +1. I think that might be skewing at least the fantasy scoring, because if you look at his numbers, 3 1/4, 3 1/4, 8 1/2, 10 3/4, 6 3/4. Like, it's a pretty solid baseline. So I do think he's actually worth a stash. I think the downside of him, because he is also playing a fair amount of minutes, he just has that center designation. That's it. You don't get any roster utility out of him. You don't get that little left wing, that little right wing bump. I don't appreciate that from the good old Yahoo. So if your platforms do have that, maybe like on ESPN or something like that, you're broadening your horizons over there, or just dulling your mind, whichever way you view it. Maybe he has a little bit more value, but I think that's really the only thing holding him back. And I do think he is worth a stash. Just anyone that's always looking to get the puck to the net, that's where the production is going to come from, which is going to equal fantasy points.
And yeah, next up too, we've got Oliver Ekman-Larsson with the Florida Panthers. Looking solid right now. He's a first D-pair defenseman. Brings a little, veteran presence, playing with Gustav Forsling, being an older lad on the back end. Yeah, playing on that first pair, and then he's on the first power play on the point with your boy Evan Rodriguez. And the last few games, definitely, don't love it, don't hate it, but someone I'm just kind of keeping my eye out for right now. 5 games played, 1 goal, 1 assist, 4 shots on goal which is like okay numbers. But the reason why I got my eye out on him is the ice time. It is there for sure. He played the last couple games, it's been down around 22, 23. But before that, he was logging 25, 26 games a night or 26 minutes. And definitely someone that I want to look at for sure. And yeah, favorable schedule, I think. At least next game, he's got San Jose, Seattle, and then Boston. Boston being a tougher matchup. But you got Seattle and San Jose at home on Tuesday and Saturday. So a lot to like there. But for me, yeah, just someone that's on the fence just because, again, not a lot of matchups this week. 19% rostered. So, not everyone's catching on the trend of OEL yet. But yeah, definitely someone on my watch list at the moment.
Yeah, that's as far as I would put him. I don't think it's necessary to add him. I like the minutes. I think that's going to breed opportunity. So if you're like in a 14-team league or something really deep like that, sure, you should absolutely add him. You want to get some exposure to, ice time. And I do think that, the assists and production will come, especially playing on the power play. I like the fact that another guy that also gets the puck to the net. He only has one game so far with less than 3 shots on goal. That was a game where he still had an assist. The team won. He had an assist against New Jersey, played 25 minutes, but he only had 1 shot on net. So, kind of a fair trade back and forth. The game after that, he scored a goal, 9.25 points, and then he went all the way down to, 1 3/4. So he's going to have those nights where he does for you. So you're putting him on your roster if you're, again, in a deeper format, or he, again, maintains a more consistent rate of offense.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, before we can get into our next guy, it's probably a good time to mention that we are brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is a way to play alongside your favorite football team all season long. Underdog has just introduced Scorchers. Go 5 for 5 and pick them Scorchers and enjoy spicy hot times 100 payout. And for a limited time, Underdog is extending the first deposit bonus up to $500. $100,000 day Sundays continue on Underdog Fantasy. 10 lucky players will win $100K each. My play on Underdog is Charlie McAvoy over 1.5 shots on goal. So watch along, make your picks, and make a little cash on an over-under on Underdog's mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. When you sign up with promo code SGPN, Underdog will double your first deposit up to $500. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by the NBA Underdog Contest. NBA is back to celebrate. We're giving away an NBA Gambling Podcast hoodie. Head over to sportsgambling.com/NBA Dog to submit a screenshot of you playing NBA Underdog using promo code SGPN. And one random winner will get an NBA Gambling Podcast hoodie. Just go to sportsgambling.com/NBA Dog.
All right, we're back in it. Nick, who is our next man up here?
Next man up, we got a little tender action here. We got Anton Forsberg with the Ottawa Senators, and he looks like a very good option when he's playing, starting. It looks like every other game, and 2 games so far, 2 wins, so you can't complain there. A 1.50 goals against average and a 933 save percentage. So Buddy's keeping the puck out of the net. Couple big wins against Washington and Philly. So definitely a lot to love with him. And at the rate he's going, playing every other game, looks like he'll get Buffalo and Pittsburgh with an Ottawa team that looks like they're rolling right now, sitting at 3-2. They're putting the puck in the back of the net a lot when they are winning. I think Forsberg's a good pickup. Like I said, 18% rostered. Only downside is the shots on goal. It's a little bit lower compared to some of our other goalie candidates. 24 shots. 24 shots on goal in the last game, 21 in the game before that. So definitely something to look out for sure. But yeah, definitely I think a home run right now. And with the shots on goal, it's bad that he's not getting the points, but it's good that Ottawa's playing defense in front of him. But yeah, definitely like him, especially in this matchup on the 24th against Buffalo for sure.
He's paired up with Korpisalo, right?
Yeah, Korpisalo.
I could see him taking over the net. I could see him taking over the majority of the starts in that scenario. So I think Korpisalo does have some losses then. He would be 1-2, and Anton Forsberg would be 2-1. Or I'm sorry, 2-0. So interested to see how that goes.
Yeah, I think with Ottawa, they're a team where they'll try anything right now. They're one of those teams that's trying to get out of that rebuilding phase, that retooling
Mhm.
phase. And I think, yeah, the little shakeup in the net bringing Corpusalo was good. But if it doesn't work, he's got Forsberg as an option. So
Yeah.
definitely a lot to work with there in Ottawa.
Well, I'll say this: Forsberg is the best option on my waiver wire, so I will definitely co-sign picking him up. Good ad right now, but I think he's also just going to be in the mix of, backup goalies that are kind of coming on and off your roster. We have some other names that we're going to be bringing up. I would say, at least from the names that I do know that we're going to talk about, he's probably at the top of the priority list still. But we'll get to those guys as they come along here.
And then, yeah, next up, we've got Trevor Moore of the Los Angeles Kings, playing on the third line with Philip Deneau and Arthur Kaliev. I honestly
Mhm.
like that line. I think Trevor Moore brings a solid offensive mindset to that line. Deneau is more of a defensive centerman. And then Moore is also slotted in on the second power play with Quentin Byfield and Philip Deneau. I mean, this is the kind of a guy I think there's better options, but I just don't see his production being as consistent as some of these other guys. While he does
Mhm.
have 5 points in 5 games with 4 goals and an assist, he's on that third line at the moment. I see him moving up the lineup, and if he's doing that, and I think if he moves up, I think that's someone that I'm definitely going to look at. I think he could definitely move up over who is this, Alexis Lafreniere. He could definitely move up and play on that line over him. And I think at that point is when I want to pull the trigger and get Trevor Moore. But right now, being a third line guy, I'm gonna bow out on him and say I think there'll be a couple other better options at the moment. Guys that are gonna be top 6 guys, guys that are gonna
Mhm.
be first power play unit guys. But Trevor Moore definitely on the watch list right now, and 8% rostered right now. A lot of deeper leagues. He's someone that you can be able to turn to, and he'll be able to get you some production, I think. But it's 7% rostered in the last day, so you got to be really quick when it comes to picking up Trevor Moore. But yeah, definitely an optimistic pickup for sure. Just not someone ready to pull the trigger on quite yet.
Yeah, I'm very much on the edge here. I think you could convince me. Let me take a look at his matchups really quick. Arizona, Vegas. I mean, I guess I just pick him up for these couple Arizona games. No, I mean, I feel like that's a good
Mm-hmm.
spot. This is another team that's been scoring. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, feel him out. If he does well in game one, throw him a bone, keep him for game two. I think at that point you'll probably wind up starting him again against Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a bad situation. I actually kind of like that line with him. Denon, was it Kaliev?
Yeah, Kaliev.
Kaliev plays physical. Denon plays
Mm-hmm.
fast. He tries to distribute rather than shoot. So I think things can be funneled to Trevor Moore, or at least tilted to his side of the ice to get at least the most production of that line. And then he plays with Deneau on the power play with Byfield. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an interesting situation. He's another guy that's bringing the puck to the net. This last game was his first game where he didn't register at least 3 shots on net. So again, those are the type of guys that I like. Shooting your shot. That's what it's going to take to get fantasy points, is getting production. Good things happen when you put the puck on net. All
Mm-hmm.
you young hockey players out there, write that down.
Yeah, and that's coming from 2 hockey coaches, obviously. But
Puck to the net.
circling onto our next guy, we've got Jonathan Quick of the Los Angeles Kings. A little bit more veteran presence, like we've mentioned, in the goal. Former Columbus Blue Jacket. Played his first game with the Rangers a couple nights ago, and he had a 4-1 win over the Seattle Kraken. 18 shots in the win, but that's the only sample size we've seen out of Jonathan Quick. But he's definitely, I think, one of the better backup goalies in this in the league this year. But I don't think the way the Rangers run Shesterkin, I don't think he's going to get too many starts. But I think you have to be looking at that daily faceoff, looking for that green check mark to make sure that
Mm-hmm.
he's going to be starting. And when he's starting, I'd say he's definitely always an option. But it's really hard to tell with how much they start Shesterkin. I think last year, I don't even know if Halak hit the 20 game mark last year as
Right.
Shesterkin's backup. So you definitely just have to watch out for that. 3% rostered though. Definitely someone that's going to be a lower percentage player as he is a backup goalie. But when he is playing, definitely someone you can target. I could see him getting a start this week, considering they're going Seattle was the start of a 4-game road trip where you've got Calgary, Edmonton,
Mhm.
Vancouver. I could see him picking up that game in Vancouver potentially on the
Yep.
28th, but just not a lot of starts. But as a backup goalie option, as a league where you have unlimited ad drops, definitely a goalie you could target the day of to get some points.
So I'll just ask it to you like this, because I mean, I agree with you. Like the situation doesn't warrant to hold him on your roster. You just want to scoop this guy up whenever you can, sneak in an extra goalie start. That's it. Nick hit it on the head there. So I'll say it like this: Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver. Are you good to pick him up and start him against any of those teams? Would you fade him up against, Edmonton? Higher scoring roster, you would at least assume.
I mean, the Oilers, they've been off to a rocky start at the moment. So, I mean, I wouldn't be against if he got in that matchup, I wouldn't be against it.
Mhm.
Even with Calgary and Vancouver, I think the Rangers could take all three of those matchups. Are they going to? Probably not. I think they'll drop one of them. But at the rate they're going right now, I mean, they're off to a little bit of a slower start right now, but I think they
Mhm.
can definitely pull it together on a Western Canadian road trip like this and be able to bring home some wins on the road. But I think the hardest game, if you were to fade any of them, would probably be Vancouver. Vancouver under Rick Tocchet's been a team that's been scoring some goals lately, and you're coming onto the tail end of that road trip, and that's when teams are the most tired and they're not playing at their fullest potential. And so, yeah, that's definitely the one game, if anything, I would possibly fade quick, but it's just hard to tell right now just about how they play the first 2 games because you split that or you lose both of them. Then coming into that third game, I think it's going to set a bad tone going into Vancouver.
I think that's the game he's going to wind up playing. So
Hmm.
just keep that in mind. I do think
Yeah.
Shesterkin gets the next 2, Calgary and
Mhm.
Edmonton. Jonathan Quick's getting the last of it against Vancouver, last of the road trip.
Yeah,
So
it's just hard to tell because you get off to it's like with my kiddos go off to a tournament, you get off to a slow start, and
mhm.
it's really really hard to be able to come back from that. So it's just going to
Dig
be all
yourselves
about
out.
It's all going to be about the tone you set coming in, right, from the get-go in Western Canada. But transitioning into our next guy here, we've got Arturi Lehkonen of the Colorado Avalanche. A little bit of a friend of the show here, someone that makes their way onto our pod a few times here and there. But Buddy, the last 3 games he's been buzzing to say the least. He's got 2 goals and 4 assists for 6 points over his last 3 games. Colorado has yet to lose a hockey game, which they are one of the few teams. I think it's Colorado, Boston, and Vegas are the
Mhm.
only teams left to lose that haven't lost. But you can't hate him when he's playing on a line with Nathan MacKinnon and Valerie Nichushkin. MacKinnon, guy that shoots the puck like a mad lad. So there's going to be rebound shots, opportunities everywhere on the first power play unit with Ryan Johansson and Mikko Rantanen. And that power play, they're like one of the best in the league. I watched them against Chicago, and they absolutely dummied the Blackhawks on the power when the Hawks were on the kill. They move
They
the
did.
puck well, and that unit of Makar and McKinnon up there is really deadly. But with Lehkonen, definitely someone I think is almost a must add playing with a guy like McKinnon. 6 points in the last 3 games, like I mentioned. The shots on goal were there. He had 8 shots on goal against San Jose. 22 shots
Ooh.
on goal in 5 games. Buddy's buzzing. Definitely a must add here for sure. The ice time's there, 18, 19 minutes a night. And yeah, if he's available, I would snag him for sure. I don't know how else you can put it.
No, I mean, again, you hit it right on the head here. 19 and a half, 10 and a half, 7 and a quarter, 6 fantasy points in his last 4 games, 6 points in 5 games played. You mentioned the shots on goal, 22 and 5. Playing on the top line, Colorado Avalanche, undefeated team right now. One of the better offenses in the league, period. Playing alongside with one of the better players in the league, Nathan MacKinnon. A lot of good things here, checking a lot of good boxes at 41% rostered. If you're sitting there and he's available, you have to get him on your roster. Inexcusable not to do so. Also, what's inexcusable, Nick, is not getting down with Hall of Fame bets. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame bets, the sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, MLB, and soccer bet with historical stats and data. Enter any parlay idea into Hall of Fame Bet's revolutionary parlay optimizer tool to get hit rates broken down leg by leg, as well as an expected probability for the entire parlay. Sort all players by hit rate for any bet to learn which players are hot and which picks have value. Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com and use promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. All right, and we're back. Party on. Let's go. Who is our next man up, Nick? What do we got?
Next guy up, we got a little more veteran presence here. We've got Mr. Scott Lawton of the Philadelphia Flyers playing on that second line, bringing a little bit of grit to that line with Travis Konechny and Tyson Forrester. Not really a special teams guy, but I mean, still some optionality here for someone still looking to pick up. 5 games played, 4 assists, 19 shots on goal, 7% rostered. I mean, I think there's better options. A guy that hasn't been able to tuck one in the back of the net, put the biscuit in the basket.
No Genos.
No Genos, all apples for this mad lad here. But I definitely think there's better options here. Playing on a Flyers team that's not necessarily the best either. They're 3-2 right now, but I doubt that's going to stick that rate. But yeah, definitely someone in a busier league a league with more guys getting picked up and dropped all the time. Lawton's a guy that can make a turn on your roster for a day, but just don't see any long-term value with him. Well, the shots on goal are there, 4, 4, and 6 in his last 3 games.
Yeah,
I just don't see a lot of long-term potential with him. And the next couple games are going to be a couple tough ones for him, going on the road to Vegas and then at home against Minnesota. 2 really
Minnesota's easy breezy. I hate Minnesota. We are done with Minnesota. This is no longer a pro Minnesota Wild podcast. No. They are in the dog house, Minnesota Wild.
Yeah, but then that Vegas matchup's going to be tough because they're the hockey team that hasn't quite, lost the game yet or lost a hockey game. And I think they just set the record for the best start for a defending Stanley Cup champion. Always, cool to see.
For what, the goals against or something like that?
Yeah, something like that, or their 6-0 start or something. But they're buzzing, and I don't think the Flyers and Scott Lawton will be able to match that in these next couple matchups. So definitely someone that's on the watch list, but he's further down the watch list for me.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that he's getting the puck to the net. Like I've been saying, these are the type of players that I try to target. But, you'd like to see him score some goals. You'd like to see there be something behind that because there are a lot of shots. There are a lot of looks on net. He is playing a fair amount of minutes. I would still say less than ideal. The most minutes he's logged in a game are 16 and a half. So that's not the best attribute. I'm going to hold off for now as well, but it's very close for me. I think there's a lot of situations where I do pick him up again. Another situation also where you're just looking at that center roster spot. You like to see a little bit more utility, a little bit more flexibility for more starts, especially if you're in a league like us where you only do get 5 ads a week. I would probably hold off on Scott Lawton, but someone I'm definitely keeping my eyes on. Also, winning faceoffs, winning a fair amount of faceoffs, was +4 one night, +5 another night, and just -1 in his last game. So it's not bad. Also throwing in the body, throwing in some hits, throwing in some blocks. So if your league values that and the waiver wire is thin, Scott Lawton should definitely be considered.
Yeah, definitely a fan of the stick lift and skate kick in the dot, winning them right back.
Oh yeah. Straight out of 1997.
And then moving into our next guy here, we've got Leo Carlson of the Anaheim Ducks, a rookie, younger kid. He's been someone I want to keep an eye on, but he has been in and out of the lineup. I don't believe he's playing in tonight's game against the Boston Bruins, and he didn't play the first 2 games. Yeah, and he didn't. And I looked; he's not injured or anything, but I think they want to be, be
why are they sitting him? Didn't he score a goal in his first game?
Yeah, he scored a goal in his first game. It doesn't make sense. I'm looking at
what's
the
he got to do?
He's putting the puck in the back of the net. He should be playing, but he's not. But definitely someone that going to keep an eye on as he starts to get in the lineup. I think what the Ducks are doing, they're just trying to I don't know, kind of ease him into the league, not like bring him in too quick. I don't know, but which is weird to me. But considering he was drafted right behind Connor Bedard, and in like a lot of other drafts, he would have gone first overall. But yeah, it's just weird. Does not see him playing, but someone that's definitely going to be on the watch list as he gets more games.
Yeah, I'm reading this now. It says here, yeah, will occasionally be scratched. What are they doing over there? I don't. Yeah, he scores a goal in his first game, and he's played a lot of minutes. It's not like he's coming in and like just being like getting 14, 13 minutes, 19, 21 and a half. Had a goal his first game. His second game, no goals, no assists, but getting the glue guy stats, the shots on goals, the couple of hits, getting a block down. Come on now, the Ducks. I mean, I had no idea that was going on. So I would have to hold off on him. But I mean, I guess that explains it. I mean, 16% rostered. I feel like that's kind of high for a guy that's not even going to play every night.
Well, yeah, and it's +8 too. And you can't have a lot of love for GM Pat Verbeek right now, who's trying to slow his development. And I think that's going to be worse for him. Sitting in the press box watching these games, what are you going to learn? You're not going to learn anything. You're going to learn from being on the ice. In a team like Anaheim, they're a team of guys that need to learn. They've got stuff that they need to learn with younger guys like McTavish, Zegras. You got Jamie Drysdale in there, Pavel Mintyukov. They've got guys where they need them to learn. And I think Leo Carlson should be on that in that learning area on a nightly basis, but he is not. But one of the guys that is in on a nightly basis with Anaheim is Frank Vetrano, who is a guy I'm sitting with on the fantasy squadron tonight, hoping to pull away with that one. Again, the little goaltender fumble there, and hoping it's Frank Vetrano, I believe, and Troy Terry. Not sure. I got to take a look at it again. Or no, I take that back. The guy I'm playing has Vetrano. So, yeah, I hope he sucks tonight. But
not good.
I mean,
pick him up.
yeah. But Buddy's doing good. 4 goals, 4 games. One of them came in a hat trick effort against the Carolina Hurricanes. Shots on goals a little bit low with 14 in 4 games. I mean, there's some value with him there. Last game, he only played 15 minutes. Outside that, I was playing 19, 29. Slotted on, like I said, with McTavish and Ryan Strome on that second line. And he's on the second power play with Henrique and Silverberg. Being on an Anaheim team that isn't always buzzing, I think I'm going to have to pass on
They
him.
suck. You just say it. They suck. This guy knows. This guy Sam knows what we're talking about. He said, very insightful. My insightful information on the Ducks is they suck. They're sitting an up-and-coming star occasionally per their strategy. Occasionally.
I don't know if they're – I think they're playing checkers right now when they need to be playing chess with these younger kids. You got the pawns in the front row. You got to promote them to queens. It's what's going to happen. They're going to go
Trevor
anywhere.
Zegras just sitting in the corner. Help me. Please help me help you. Just please give the kid some love.
Yeah, and Zegras.
I mean, Frank Vetrano's a decent ad, but I don't think he's going to be someone that's on your roster for long. I think the production will be very sporadic, like you've kind of already seen, right? Like he had a hat trick, then he has nothing really going for him, and then he has a goal. He shoots, but in his last game, he had 3 penalties. That's not very good.
Like it.
That's not very good. I mean, and in those NHL video games, I mean, they tear that guy up right there. You do that. So I don't know. Your player grade's getting just brutalized. So
yeah, right. Playing.
I'm not that interested. I'm not that interested in Frank Vetrano, to be honest. If he was playing on that top line, I think I'd be more interested.
Yeah,
maybe that's changed. Is that maybe the case now with Carlson off?
He's still on line too. If anything, they should have stretched this Vetrano bum and put our boy Leo there. But I guess that's
they brought up Adam Henrique. That's fantastic. Big Adam Henrique fan. But what are you doing? You're sitting Leo Carlson so you can throw Adam Henrique up on the top line. It's great.
You gotta
That's
love it.
way to
You
show
gotta,
them. You guys
yeah,
analytical. You know what you're doing over there in Anaheim. You're figuring it
right.
out.
And yeah, moving from west to east here, we've got Kyle Palmieri with the New York Islanders on a really strange second line for quite that matter. He's on a
It
line with
is.
Brock Nelson and Pierre Engvall, and I say that because Pierre Engvall looks like a giraffe. He's just like a 6'5" dude. He's got a super long neck. He's a giraffe. And yeah, with Palmieri, he's on the first power play unit, surprisingly, with Bo Horvat and Matt Barzal. Buddy's got a goal and 3 assists in 4 games, 11 shots on goal. I mean, 5% roster. I mean, I guess you could get him while he's on the second line, but there's no way he's staying on that second line. He brings that veteran presence to the bottom 6. He should be playing with the guys like Pajot and Lee, or even throw him down with Cizikas and Clutterbuck, Martin, that fourth line.
JJ Pajot.
He's a bottom 6 guy, and I don't see him staying in the top 6 too long. But while he's there, I would say get a piece of Mr. Kyle while he's playing second line and first power play. But yeah, long-term, no value there for me.
Yeah, they actually have Anders Lee, J.G. Pajot, and Julien Gauthier on the third line. That's ugly. And again, the second line is just weird too. Like, I mean, I like Brock Nelson, but just something just is underwhelming about him. And the same thing for Pierre Engvall. Just something just underwhelming about him. I love me some Kyle Palmieri. I love me some Anders Lee. Like, let's put them together. Let's do some flippy floppy. Come on now. I don't.
Yeah, right.
It's like Engvall should be on the third line. Anders Lee should be switched with him. Like, come on now. Something ain't right here. Palmieri's putting up numbers. He didn't in his last game. He went 1 1/4 his last game, 9 1/4, 7 1/4, 7 1/2, playing enough minutes for me to fit into my criteria for adding somebody. The shots on net, I don't believe are there. Well, no, actually not that bad. They're better than I thought. He only had 1 in his last game, but the 3 games prior to that, 3, 3, and 4. I didn't think they were that high. So that's really not that bad. I think he actually does fit a lot of the criteria for me. But again, just not someone I believe will be on my roster long. Just, someone I'm looking to plug and play, trying to get some more starts, trying to get a couple more fantasy points. Matchups this week, not really that great. Colorado, Ottawa, like we had mentioned, Ottawa not allowing a lot of shots on net. Columbus, good matchup, but on the road, and it's not until Saturday. So, probably not going to be making this pickup, but I don't hate it. I definitely would recommend it if you're, looking to, get deep with it.
Yeah, I swear some of these teams with their lines, it's like you're playing an NHL video game in franchise mode, trying to get that solid chemistry. Like,
yeah, just purposely not doing the right decisions to please some, analytical autonomy. No, boo, don't do it.
Yeah. And moving back to the West Coast, we're going into a dumpster fire here in San Jose with Mackenzie Blackwood. But the team, he's getting good numbers. I
was going to say.
He's 3 games started, but he hasn't won a hockey game yet. But this guy is getting pummeled. 51 shots against
tons of fantasy points. What are you talking about? He's cleaning up.
I'm getting there, but 51 points against Colorado, 21 against Carolina, 16 against Nashville. Buddy's getting the points, but the team in front of him, for God's sakes, it's a hot mess. I think what was this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. 4 out of 5 games, you score 1 goal. Like, come on.
They haven't won a single game. Yeah, absolutely. The team is a dumpster fire, but it's a golden spot for fantasy goalies. This is fantastic.
Oh, it definitely is a perfect situation for a guy like Mackenzie Blackwood coming in from New Jersey, which definitely not something he's used to. Playing New Jersey, you probably use, 20, 25 shots a game, not 51. But he's seeing the shots and he's saving them as much as he can, but he's getting the fantasy points. That's what matters. What I see as a big thing is rank 13 on Yahoo platforms. Definitely someone that's worth targeting when he's starting, and only 11% rostered too, but +6% in the last day. So if you're going to get him, get on him.
but he's going to be getting the points for saves. I don't know about the wins, but the saves are there. And I just got to wonder, Justin, who, like, if anyone, who's going to be the team that they actually beat. I don't see it being any of these teams on the schedule. You got Florida, Tampa Bay, Carolina. They're not beating any of these teams. You're going 0-8 here.
Yeah, sorry, pals. Didn't mean to put it on you like that, but Nick's right. It's not looking good. They've had some sporadic offense here or there, but it's never maintained, and it's always spoiled by bad defense. So, yeah, I'm not really that interested, but getting lots of fantasy points. I think that people that picked him up probably aren't that unhappy, but at the same time, like in our league where we only get 5 ads a week, I'm probably not picking him up. What was his ownership rate? What was his exposure rate?
11% rostered.
Well, that definitely helps because the next guy up is 50% rostered, and he's a much better option, and that's Karel Vejmelka. He has 2 wins. Similar situation, but where he's racking up a ton of saves. But the Coyotes haven't been actually that bad. They're 3-2, not really taking on a lot of goals against. So pretty good situation so far for them. And I do like their upcoming schedule back-to-back with LA and Chicago, but 50% rostered. It's likely that Vejmelka is owned in your league. If he is available, yeah, I think you got to pick him up. Any disagreement?
No disagreement on this one. He is a guy that's been a friend of the show as well in the past.
Yeah.
So I could definitely show him some love. But with this Arizona team, I think they're kind of a sleeper team. I think a lot of people are sleeping on them. I don't think they're going to be like a playoff contender by any means, but they're going to get better. They are going in the right direction, and then Karel Vejmelka is going to be a big piece of that. And yeah, the schedule coming up here, you got LA a couple times and then Chicago. Favorable matchups for Buddy, and 3 games started, 2 wins, a 165 goals against, and 951 save percentage. 50% roster, hard to come by, but if he's available, I would grab him. But I wouldn't use any trade pieces that you have. I wouldn't try and go out and trade for a guy like this. Definitely someone I would only want to play on the waiver wire, not give up other valuable pieces to try and move for him.
Yeah, that's fair. Who's our next man up?
Our next man up is another goaltender moving from south to north. We have Mr. Joseph Woll of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he was an interesting fella. I know he's sharing. Yeah, he's sharing the net right now with Ilya Samsonov at the moment, and he's looking solid at the moment. Playing as a backup, I can't get his numbers up at the moment, but from what I know with Joseph Woll, plays really solid. Has a good team in front of him, and yeah, I don't know why I can't get his numbers up right now.
So he had 34 fantasy points in his last start on the 21st, which was yesterday, and then on the 16th he lost. He was in net up against the Blackhawks when we stuck one in Toronto's face. Also on my parlays, thank you, Chicago, I love you. So he took a loss in that game, 4-1. But then he rebounded, beat Tampa Bay on the road. They've given him the nod for the 24th. So he's going to start up against Washington. Washington has struggled to start. I like him to win that game. I do think that he should be picked up if you're trying to stack points, if you're trying to get that extra goalie start. A lot of these leagues in fantasy, they'll make you at least start, like 3 or 4 or 5 goalies a week. So if you're looking to get those numbers going early, definitely looking at some Joseph Woll. And Toronto, I don't think they're actually playing that amazing. They've needed to score at least 4 goals or more in each of their wins. I do think they can do that up against Washington, but I also don't think that Woll's going to be in net most likely for Dallas and Nashville. I do believe that if you're in net for the Leafs and you get hot, there's no pulling you. So I do like the idea of him coming in, maybe getting another win. He gets a couple more in a row here and he can really take over the job. That would be fantastic. But I see this as, kind of being an even split between him and Samsonov.
Yeah, and I can agree with that. And I'll tell you what, those Toronto fans, they're the terrorizer of tendies. Their media and their fans, they cook the tendies so hard over there. So a lot of pressure on both Samsonov and Woll. But yeah, definitely a good option to run with out in Toronto. Sticking in the Eastern Conference, though, we've got Travis Sanheim of the Philadelphia Flyers. Philadelphia, again, a team that's not as favorable. Off to not a bad start, but not as favorable down the stretch.
5 games, 4 assists, 6% rostered. Definitely someone, that's worth taking a look at. He's on the first power play, even on the point with Cam Atkinson. Someone I don't hate, someone I don't really love. Not sure yet. The ice time, definitely there. Last game he logged 28 minutes. That's just, 28 minutes, 27. The lowest
Power
game
plays.
a lot of power play time, a lot of PP1 action. And then one game he logged almost 24 minutes. So definitely someone that's worth taking a look at. But I think you have to be cautiously optimistic on account that he is a Philadelphia Flyer. But definitely someone that I think has some value at only 6% rostered.
You're really hating on the Flyers tonight.
I'm
You
just
want
not
to
a
talk
big
about it?
Philly
Is
guy.
everything all right?
I'm just not a big Philly guy. I mean, I look at their lineup and I'm like, all right, this team looks like they're going. They look like a team with like no direction at the moment. Yeah, Carter Hart. That's like, I want out of here. Some of these guys, like, I mean,
What,
I
you're
don't
not all in on Bobby Brink?
I mean, I'm not a Bobby Brink hater, but I'm looking at their defense. Some of these guys I've never even heard of. Like, Igor Zamula and Emil Andre. Like, who's Emil?
I'll give you that. I don't know who those people are.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll give you that. That's fair. But I do know who Travis Sanheim is, and he's got an assist in 4 out of 5 games played. I think this is a really easy pickup. He is near the puck when it's making its way to the net. That's a good thing. Whether you're playing the fantasy or you're coaching up your squad, being active on the puck and being active on the ice, good stuff. I mean, a lot of minutes. At least assist the game in 4 out of 5 games. A lot to like here. I think you grab him, roster him until he heads south, till that trend balances out or goes negative. All right, we got a couple of guys left. Who do we got?
Next up, we've got just Barry Kotkaniemi on the Carolina
Heating up.
Hurricanes, a team I like a little bit more than the Philadelphia Flyers. But Kotkaniemi,
that's cherry picking.
I'm just saying, Philly, they're just a bunch. I'm not a fan.
Kotkaniemi back on the show. We did have him last week, and he was bar none our best recommendation last week. I mean, we had some good ones, but Kotkaniemi was definitely the best. Just a quick re-hit on his production this week. What do you got?
With Kotkaniemi, production looking solid right now. 6 games played, 3 goals, 4 assists. 15 shots on goal through 6 games, but he's playing a lot of games. 16% rostered in the this year, and +8 in the last day. But he's got 2 points, 1 goal, 1 assist the last game. Had a goal the game before that, 2 apples the game before that. I mean, he's only had 1 game where he didn't have a point. So definitely someone that's worth targeting. Playing on the second line with Stefan Noesen and Seth Jarvis. I know a guy that you mentioned that you hit on. On the second power play with Stefan Noesen and Marty Necas. But yeah, definitely a lot to love here. And I know Carolina, they're looking at trying an interesting approach here, putting Tara Vinen in the middle. So be interesting to see how that goes. Maybe that doesn't work out. Kotkaniemi could move up to line 1. So a lot to like with Kotkaniemi. I think the ceiling is very high with him. And definitely someone that I think out of all these guys is a must. Because with Svechnikov and Aho out right now, someone's got to step up, and I think it'll be Kotkaniemi.
There's so much scoring. I mean, the lowest they've scored in a game was 3 goals. So the way they started the season, 5-6-3, 6-4-4. I mean, there's just so much scoring for this Carolina team. You want to get every bit of them that you can. Kotkaniemi playing enough minutes, goals in back-to-back games. What is that? 5 points in his last 3 games. And like Nick said, just 1 game where he hasn't registered a point at 16% rostered. Easy pickup, home run smash. If somehow Seth Jarvis is available, I was looking at his availability. I know he was at like 60%. So typically we try to keep everybody at least under 50 on our show sheet, on our list. So if he's still somehow available, Seth Jarvis, he's definitely another target. But again, 63% rostered, most likely not available in your league. Stefan Noesen, I think he is probably available though. I would say take a good look at him. I'm looking at him.
I'm looking at this guy. I'm taking a good look at him right now with that bald head of his, but 2% rostered right now. He's got 6 points in his last 3 games, a goal and 5 assists.
There you go.
Buddy is on fire at the moment. definitely a pick to click in Carolina for sure. Again, he's playing on that second line with our boy Just Barry and your boy Seth Jarvis. Lot to like here on the second power play unit. But 6 points in 3 games at 2% roster, getting that bump up to the second line, Justin. There's not a lot more to say with that. He's just
that's clean.
Yeah, that's clean. You get him like right now, 2% roster. No one's caught on the trend yet. And with Yahoo, guys catch on the trend pretty quick. So I would get him before the trend starts.
Before there's a bunch of games to be played and everyone goes, oh, hey, look at that guy.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I believe next up we have, was it Logan O'Connor? Is that right?
Yep. Logan O'Connor of the Colorado Avalanche.
We're getting into it.
We're getting a little deep into the waiver wire here.
Well, Logan O'Connor, I mean, he's a fourth liner.
Yeah, Buddy is he's a certified unit right now in the fourth line. Goals in 3 straight games. Again, the ice time isn't there because he is a fourth liner, but definitely some value I think that he brings to the table with a Colorado team that's getting scoring from everywhere. You've got line 1 that's always buzzing. Line 2, they're buzzing with Johansson, Tatar. 3, even with Ross Cole and Jonathan Drouin. I love that third line. And yeah, line 4 with O'Connor, Cogliano. They get some offense going. I watched them in that Chicago game.
Clearly. He has a goal in 3 straight games, but
yeah,
I mean,
they get the offense going. Lot to like here. As long as the production's there, definitely someone that you stick with. And even Yahoo said it perfectly. O'Connor remains hot with a shorty. So 3% rostered plus 2 in the last day. If he's scoring, he's on pace. I would hang on to him.
I just don't know. 3 goals on 8 shots. I just don't think that. I don't think that's maintainable. I'm gonna have to pass. I mean, I love me a good fourth liner. I love me a full, clear eyes line. But damn, I just can't buy that. Not enough minutes. Goals in 3 straight games. That's just an anomaly. I just don't think that can be maintained. Especially like in our league where ads are everything. I can't waste like one of my 5 on Logan O'Connor, unfortunately. We did skim over Sean Monahan, I believe with Montreal now.
Yeah, Sean Monahan moved over with the Montreal Canadiens right now. And yeah, I mean, I again watched him when they played the Blackhawks. Monahan looked like that he got a lot going, and it's showing in his numbers right now. 4 games played, 2 goals, 2 assists, 9 shots on goal. Buddy's on pace right now, obviously, for an 82-point season. And he's on the third line right now with Tanner Pearson, Brendan Gallagher. I actually like that line. I think it's one of the better third lines that you see out of a lot of teams that are struggling. And then he's on the first power play with Suzuki, Josh Anderson. This Montreal team, they've got some work to do. I think Monahan, he's not going to be the way to go for sure, playing on that third line as much as I like that line. But I think there's some other pieces too, even here with like Newhook and Raphael Harvey-Pinard. There's going to be some options here because there's going to be guys that move around this lineup and get a lot of ice time. But for me, Monahan, I mean, the ice time's there. Just for me, I don't see this consistency sticking as a bottom 6 guy when there's a lot of other top 6 guys on this list.
Yeah, especially just having a center designation, that's tough. I do like the production here, though. Last game, goal and assist. A couple of games ago, again, goal and assist. So 12 3/4, 3.5, 16 1/4. It's pretty solid for his last 3 games. Love the work in the dot. +5 faceoffs his last game, +4 the game before that, +12 in the 3-2 victory. Who was that against in their second game? That was against Chicago. Yeah, so killed in the faceoff dot. Must have played Bedard a lot in the faceoff circle.
Buddy sucks in the dot.
Kid cannot figure it out. But back to Monahan, also not getting really enough shots on net for me. I'm gonna say high quality watch list candidate because I'm gonna bet that he does get into the top 6. I'm gonna bet that he does log some top 6 minutes. I know Kirby Doc, he's headed to the IR. Maybe he can weasel his way up there with some more consistent production. So definitely, top tier watch list guy.
Yeah, imagine being Kirby Doc though and getting put on the IR against your former team, just getting absolutely tossed. You hate to see it.
I hate to see it, but he had a nice little revenge moment. He had a game winner against us last year. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah.
How long are you gonna hold a grudge? I mean, like you're in the NHL. Like you're in the show, pal. Like get over it.
Yeah. And yeah, to wrap up the show here, we got a little duo here with Paul Cotter and William Karlsson. William Karlsson made the show last week. He was my pick to click last week, and he performed very nicely. So thanks to Mr. William. And yeah, that came last week with what was that? 4 points in 3 games, goal and an assist in a win against Dallas, an assist against Winnipeg, and a goal against Chicago. But this Golden Knights team, Justin, they're just rolling. They've only had one game where they had less than 4 goals. They're scoring 4 or 5 goals a game, and it's coming from everyone. And Karlsson being a big contributor to that, as well as our boy Paul Cotter, who is his line mate, who is also getting in on this production right now. Not as high of a rate, but he's got 1 goal, 3 assists, 6 shots on goal in 6 games, 3 points in the last 2 games. And I think he's someone that could, be a sneakier pickup. If you're not in a league where there's unlimited ads, I think Paul Cotter's an option. But if I had to pick between the 2 guys, the 2 line mates, it would be William Karlsson for sure, as he's also in the power play. Cotter's not in the power play. A lot to like with Karlsson. And I think if, Cotter's just kind of a good side piece with that if you're in a league where that doesn't limit ad drops.
Yeah, I'm going Karlsson over Cotter. Just going to be more consistent, more reliable track record between the two. So I'm going to go with him. I don't believe that he has any type of. Actually, I think they're both listed as centers.
Yeah, I think Cotter is listed at center. I know William Karlsson for free is listed at center.
Yeah, so that's weird. Yahoo, get it fixed. They're both listed as a C, but that just lowers the probability that I'll add Cotter. I understand it for Karlsson. That's mainly been his position, but I still feel like he's played the wing before. But I don't know. You just got to live and die with what they give you. And yeah, the 4 points in the last 3 games, love to see it. Just someone that I have more trust will continue to click. The run will run longer with him rather than Cotter. All right, been a long one and a good one. You have anything to share before we head out?
Yeah, check me on Twitter, Face Off with OZ for NHL content, hockey content, any hockey content at all over there with Face Off with OZ. Hoping that I can pull this matchup out. Before we head out, I was going to give everyone a score update because, it was 287, 283, 288 to 285 right now with the last game just getting underway in Boston and Anaheim. And Pavel Zacha already lost a face-off. That's negative points right now. So we're sitting on the edge of our seat, right? Sweating this one out.
Gotta be careful with the centers. Start losing draws. Yeah. Start heading down. Start heading south.
Yeah.
Me and Nick did have our captains from last week. I had Evan Rodriguez, and Nick did have William Karlsson. So his captain won. Our agreed wager was that our buddy Bedard last week was fined for going no bucket. So loser here would have to go bucket. So next episode, I will be in the helmet and shield, going full bucket. Who is going to be your captain this week?
Oh, easy. Arturi Lehkonen.
Okay. All right. Not making it easy on me, I see.
You asked me first. You could have.
That's true. Well, yeah. I mean, I also asked you first last week. I mean, just been nice about it.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Who is going to finish higher than Arturi Lehkonen? I'm going to have to go with one of these Carolina guys. I guess I'm going to go with Kotkaniemi.
Good pick.
Yeah, I mean, I think I kind of have to. It's that, or I have to go to William Karlsson. I got to get some redemption from him. one of the other.
Imagine. Right.
But I'm going to go with Kotkaniemi because I'm going to say he gets a chance to get some top line minutes potentially this week. So all right, so Nick's got Arturi Lehkonen, and I've got Jesus, I already forgot it. Kotkaniemi. It's just because his name's so damn funny. All right. Take care. Be well. Be good. If you can't be good at it. We will see you next time. Later.